Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, Roxstars. So this is going to be the last top of the blogs of the year because next week is Thursday, which is the day after Christmas. And you guys know, like I know, that the day after Christmas is special because it is my birthday. And I will not be doing a video on my birthday. So this will be the last top of the blogs for 2019. I know if I would have thought this out more, I would have done like a year-end top of the blogs or a decade-end top of the blogs, but I didn't think it out. And so I'm not doing one. I'm sorry, you guys, but no, I want to enjoy my holidays like the rest of you guys. So the best I could do is give this one to y'all today, and y'all can go back and watch all the old ones for the whole decade of videos that I've done, and then we could just kind of meet in the middle there, right? Yeah, I don't want to do a video next week, a top of the blogs. I will still do my Love and Hip Hop video, my Real Housewives videos. I'm gonna do my shows. I'm just not doing top of the blogs. Okay, so after Tuesday, which will be Christmas Eve, I won't be back until the following Monday to do Real Housewives again. So I'm sorry about that, you guys. Look, I'm gonna do some shout outs though, because a few of you guys asked me to. I was like, let me just go on and do these shout outs. Y'all know I don't like doing shout outs because I never remember, but there were 3 people that asked for them yesterday in the comments. I don't know what I'm shouting them out for. I'm just shouting you out because you a rock star and Rocky love you. So here we go. The Miss Tasia show, who's been asking me to shout her out for the longest. I think we missed her birthday. She forgot to tell me it was her birthday. And then after that, she's been asking for shout outs ever since. So girl, shout out to you. Shout out to Beyond the Hood Diva. I'm gonna put everybody's name on the screen so you guys will know what it is, but I think it's Beyond the Hood Diva, and then of course the overall Prince, who did my cute little short bob wig that I had, a couple of hairstyles ago. All right, so shout out to all of you guys. Okay, Rocky, love you just like I love all the rest of the rock stars out there. And I guess that's it. I just wanted to get that all out the way, let you guys know ahead of time that this will be it. Okay, all right. All right, you guys, so the first story up. The first official story is IMPEACHMENT. Do you know what that means? IMPEA. Your boy, YSAP, as some of you guys like to call him. He was impeached yesterday, December 18th, 2019. Will go down in history that Donald Trump was impeached for the abuse of power and the obstruction of justice for holding back military aid and funds to the Ukraine unless they promised to open an investigation on Joe Biden, who we all know was a political rival. And I guess Trump figured he was his heaviest competition in the upcoming 2020 presidential elections. So the House that is run by the Democrats, is controlled by the Democrats, they did impeach him last night, okay? With an overwhelming all yay vote to the Republicans' all nay vote. I believe they got 1 independent vote. I don't know how many independent representatives there are, but anyway, they got a 1 on that one, and yeah, they had enough to impeach him. And that is a good thing. Everybody's going on and on about, he has such a huge ego, which he does. And, this will definitely bother him that, his legacy is going to be tarnished in a way that, he's just going to be the third president in history to be impeached. Okay, so Andrew Jackson was impeached back in 1045, I believe it is. Is it 1045 or 1048? Then in 1974, Richard Nixon was going to be impeached. Actually, he was going to be impeached. They had already said that they were doing it, but they weren't able to do the vote. He resigned before before that vote went through. So he was threatening to be impeached, but it wasn't. Then, of course, in 1998, you guys remember Bill Clinton being impeached for his extramarital affair. He was not removed. Neither was Andrew Jackson. And now in 2019, Donald Trump will be the third person to be impeached. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. But we already know that the Senate is not going to convict him and remove him from office. And Mitch McConnell has already confirmed that they will not be removing him, which has raised the next problem. Nancy Pelosi said that she's not going to even turn over the articles until, Mitch McConnell promises that he's going to give him a fair trial. I mean, how can you say that you're not going to convict somebody and you haven't even heard the evidence? You haven't even had the trial. You're already going in saying that you're not going to do it, which we already knew you weren't going to do it. But please, can you keep some decorum and, stick with the way that, things are done? At least act like you're going to give them a fair trial. You're going to tell us right flat out that you're not going to do it, So that is the next problem. Of course, y'all, YSAP, he's out there tweeting like crazy, mad, upset. I'm sure he is pissed with, Nancy Pelosi. One, she's a woman who's in charge, okay, who is sticking it to him the best way that she can. The Democrats, how dare they impeach him, even though he admitted that he did what he did. He just feels like it wasn't, it wasn't anything bad. It wasn't illegal as far as he was concerned. So, yeah, we got all that going on right now. Even though I won't jump for joy that he won't be removed, the difference with his situation and with the former presidents that were impeached situations is that he is the only president that will be up for re-election. The other two that were impeached, they were in their second term. Okay, so they wouldn't, I don't even know if Andrew Jackson, if they had terms back then, but he wasn't going to be reelected, obviously. So Trump's situation is different where, we don't know if this has left a big enough mark, a big enough stain on his upcoming campaign that it'll keep him out of office. A lot of people are saying that he's probably going to get reelected anyway. You know what? I just grabbed my popcorn and watched. At this point, I couldn't tell you one way or the other, child. I didn't think that they were going to impeach him. They finally got the impeachment to happen. Now we just got to see where do we go? Where do we go from here? I put a little Stacy and Johnny on that ass, y'all. We're going to see where we go from here. Let it go down in history. December 18, 2019. YSAP is impeached. All right, you guys. So in this day and age of all you hear about is human trafficking and got everybody scared to death of parking next to white vans. And, they're telling us that women and kids are being snatched up left and right and the police aren't talking about it. And you know how these things go. It has been blown up, I believe, by social media. Yes, human trafficking is a real thing, but I don't know if we should feel like every white van that's out there that has a church name painted on the side is picking up and stealing women and children and things like that. But whatever. Human trafficking is happening right now. It is the discussion. It is on everybody's lips. On the heels of this discussion, we saw, with horrid faces, a surveillance camera the other night. It seems that Carol Sanchez and her mother, Carmen, they were walking down a Bronx street, 11:30 at night. It was raining. They had their umbrellas. She's 16 years old. I don't know if I mentioned that. They're walking down the street and all of a sudden a car comes flying up, slams on his brakes. Two men jump out, grab little Carol. The mother, of course, is fighting for her daughter's life. Okay, throws her umbrella, runs after the guys. They get the girl in the car. There's supposedly two other men in the car. They get her in the car. The mother is still trying to hold on to look like the door of the car. And then finally they get out and then they push her down and then they get back in the car and they take off. Okay. Now, can you imagine this? I can't even tell you how I would, I can't even explain to you how I would feel if something like that happened to me and my daughter as we were walking down the street. I would be just frantic, okay? And I can imagine that that's probably how Carmen was. So Once the surveillance cameras, once that was put out there, it sparked this huge Amber Alert in the city, actually in the state. I believe there was an Amber Alert for all of New York. There was a manhunt looking for either the girl, the guys, both of them, trying to figure out exactly where they are. Yeah, it was a mess. Somebody actually sent it to me in my DM, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? It wasn't like she was by herself, and they did all of this and snatched this girl up. So yeah, terrible. I was praying that girl was found, safe and sound. But I usually am a little bit more pessimistic than optimistic in those situations. But the very next day, seems that Carol Sanchez popped up right in the same intersection that she was abducted from, walked up to a police car, trembling, afraid, and she was found. Okay. This happened right before the family had received a phone call from an anonymous caller that said that they had snatched the wrong girl. Okay. And then, like I said, she was found, or she just showed up some hours later. But when she was reunited with her family, she did admit to the police that she staged the whole abduction, you guys. And I was like, ain't this about what? Yes, it seems that Carol's mother, Carmen, was looking to move the family back to Honduras, and Carol didn't want to go. She had a 23-year-old boyfriend. They haven't released his name yet because he hasn't been charged with anything, but she had a 23-year-old boyfriend, and this was her way of staying with the boyfriend. Now, 16 years old, obviously ain't thought this whole thing out. Okay, you have made this big production of being snatched, and like I told you, with all of the things and all of the talk that's been said about human trafficking, for you to be snatched, I guess they didn't realize that this story was going to be huge. Okay, maybe they didn't think it would be on surveillance camera like that, but they probably got nervous when they saw it was all over the news and these Amber Alerts were going out and all of that, and they were like, wait a minute. we ain't signed up for all of this. And so then she decided to just kind of, give up and, turn herself in, or tell her story, what she did. Now, the dumb thing about this, on top of her being involved with a 23-year-old man, okay, 16 years old, you can see there's statutory rape right there, okay? This 23-year-old man, along with the other 3 men that were involved, they're saying that they are not charging them with them, but they want to question them, okay? You have brought on all this extra attention to your already criminal past. You are having a relationship with a 16-year-old girl. Okay, he's been arrested in the past for attempted murder, for murder, and now what the fuck is wrong with people? You have gotten your own self in trouble when you didn't even have to get yourself. Isn't there other ways for these things to try to work itself out? For you to try to stage this whole thing. So yeah, dumb for everybody involved. Like I said, they're not going to charge the girl. I'm assuming that just this attention is charge enough. Okay, she's a child. And I tell you, these kids, they that's why I always tell you, you got to talk to your kids. The kids make the stupidest, dumbest mistakes. And that is what we as parents are here to help them through that. So Carol Sanchez is fine, has always been fine. Her boyfriend may not be fine once they find him. Her mother, I'm sure, is mad and stressed and embarrassed. The family, the whole nine. But yeah, we don't have to worry about, at least in this instance, we don't have to worry about any human trafficking. All right, you guys. So I remember when J.R. Smith and his wife, his now estranged wife, Shirley Jewel Harris. I remember when they got married a few years ago. And, it was really a highly emotional time because I believe she was pregnant. And shortly after they got married, she gave birth to their baby very, very early. And their baby had medical issues and all of that. And I'm sure that brought them, closer together, trying to be there for one another in, this trying time with their baby. But when they got married, I thought it was strange. I don't remember 100%, but it seemed like I remember J.R. Smith was seeing somebody else at the time, kind of had been on the blogs with whoever he had been seeing, but then out the blue, he decided to drop everything and marry his wife. Now, they did have kids together before this last baby. I think they actually have 3 kids together. And so I was just like, well, maybe he just finally said, like, you know what, this is my mother and my kids. You know, obviously I have some sort of feelings for her, or I love her. You know, we might as well try to really make this family work. I was thinking that maybe he was there, but you guys have always known that J.R. Smith has had, you know, some running in him, and you know, you just kind of thought of him as like the bachelor, you know, kind of out there and seeing a lot of women and all of that, right? But fine, they got married, they had that baby. I thought that they were fine. But fast forward some years later to 2019, and J.R. Smith has been seen most recently with Candace Patton, who is an actress. She is on the CW's The Flash, if you guys watch that show. And he's been seen with her out on the town, dating her or whatever. And, you know, a lot of people were like, well, damn, isn't he married? Okay, well, I thought he was married too. According to Miss Shirley Jewel Harris, she says that, yes, he is definitely married. All right. So she got on to her social media and decided to post a prayer. She said that she had had a talk with God that morning. And God told her, what you're going to do is you're going to pray for your husband. You're going to pray for his mistress. Cover them all. And, you know, maybe that's going to help them. And then you're going to post it on social media. I was like, now, I know my God ain't told you to do that. Girl, I know. Now, you was doing okay until you said he said to post it on social media. But she gets on there. She prays, you know, for him, and prays that, you know, she would, you know, as the mistress, as the girl, to pray for this woman who would go after a married man, and, you know, all of this. Obviously, the prayer was petty, okay, wrapped in a Christian bow. And for her to post that, I guess she wanted us all to know that, yes, they are still indeed married. Well, J.R. Smith, who probably can be just as or even more petty than his now estranged wife, he gets on finally, after people have been, you know, I'm sure hounding him about it. He gets on and says, IG ain't the place for relationships, but God told me to tell y'all that I've been separated for months. And he doesn't understand why his child failed to tell y'all that. Of course, we didn't have the discussion on whether or not you feel like people who are married but separated. You know, we've had this discussion many times, whether or not they should be dating or not. I mean, that is a personal thing. To me, if you are not physically with that person and you separate, I feel like, okay, that's it. You can date and do whatever. Okay. Of course, it might be fresh. It's just been months, but, you know, for some people that's enough. So, I don't know, but while he is legally married, he's not really with his wife any longer. They just haven't taken the time to, move along into this divorce, if that's what is going to happen. But, yeah, girl, I was just like, all this praying. Girl, what you need to do is get you a lawyer. Get your little monies, because if he's out here and he's doing that, and, like I said, he already has kind of a reputation in the past, he just might be done with that. And if he done, then you need to protect yourself. But that prayer, I was just like, girl, I'm sure it was to make her look more like the forgiving or the understanding wife. But I was just like, girl, get off social media with this mess. You know, God ain't told you to put that on no damn social media. All right, you guys, so Tekashi 6ix9ine, or Daniel Hernandez, as his mama calls him, he pled guilty to racketeering, firearms, and drug trafficking charges and was given 2 years. He was also sentenced to 5 years of supervised release and 300 hours of community service. They're going to let him use his time served. So since he's been in there for about 13 months, he's got about 11 more months to go. He will be out of jail somewhere around the end of October, beginning of November of next year. Still getting off easy if you ask me. His attorney was asking for just already time served and was saying because he was a snitch, that he had been cooperating so well that, that maybe they should just let him go free. So there was all this talk yesterday that he was actually going to be walking. His girlfriend had her nails done in the rainbow, like, she's going to be partying up with her man that night and all of that. But yeah, the judge was like, hell fucking nah, bitch. It ain't happening today, even though I still feel like he got off easy. The judge was just like, you were in this notorious and violent gang and you used them to, torture and go after people and all of that. Like, the judge couldn't just let him go free and feel good about that. So he gave him 2 years. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, whatever. So I guess many of the Tekashi 6ix9ine fans that are out there, y'all, I guess can take solace in knowing that this will be the last Christmas that he won't be around. And then once he gets out, I guess we'll see what happens then. I don't even know, what am I supposed to say? Is that a congratulations to him? I guess he was facing something like 47 years. And, for you to get 2 years, I mean, you got off easy. Easy. We'll see if he's changed his life once he gets out. He's going to be on witness protection, I think, once he gets out. But, somebody like him, he ain't going to be able to stay in that, so who knows what's going to happen with Tekashi 6ix9ine. We'll just have to see. All right, you guys. So Lyra Galore, she filed a lawsuit against her baby daddy. Okay, Quality Control CEO P. Thomas. I was surprised when she ended up with him because remember she was with Rick Ross and then all of a sudden they just broke up out of the blue. We never really knew exactly what happened, but then next thing you know, she kind of landed this P guy and let them tell it they was happy. She was pregnant. He was also had another woman pregnant, I believe, at the exact same time. Their babies got to be around the same age. So she now has an 8-month-old little girl, and she is now suing him because they're broken up, right? Now she's suing him and saying that during the time that they were together, when she was pregnant, before she was pregnant, that he used to beat her up. Okay, so she's suing him for $15 million. Which I'm not saying that he did or didn't do. Of course, this is allegedly. This is just what she is saying. But it's always kind of makes you skeptical when somebody actually sues, but sues for money and don't want your ass to go to jail. Like if you were getting beat up, it seemed like you would want them to go to jail. Now, my Roxstar lawyers out there, my real ones, y'all explain it to me. Is she not able to do that because she didn't call the police at the time? So this is only her best, recourse is to try to sue him for money? Or can we still, is it too late to bring up charges of getting your ass beat? Okay, and saying, okay, I want him to go to jail, but now you want $15 million from him? So, okay, whatever. So now she's got this big case against him. Now they're also going through some custody things, and so the shit is getting bitter and is getting tough. Now P has said that what she's saying is not true. She's saying that he's sort of like a deadbeat, that he's got all these kids, he doesn't take care of them. When they were together, she always had the kids. I was like, well, I mean, that's sort of kind of like how it is. You get with the man, he got kids, and you the mama, and you gonna be there with the kids. But she was saying that he left her with the kids, and like I said, he beat her. She's posted pictures of like her bumps and bruises and knots and scrapes and shit from, I guess, some tough tussles that they had. Yeah, just said that he's just a lousy father and boyfriend. Well, P's come out and said that's not true, and then to support his side of the argument, he released all these text messages between her and him, and the text messages do not make Lyra look good. I just was like, girl, if you were gonna be saying all this shit that you said in these text messages, you needed to have had a face-to-face. Saying all this stuff on text messages that doesn't put you in the best light, for somebody to put it out there and just kind of let everybody know, it's like not the best move. But she does admit to doing cocaine in the text messages while she was pregnant. She does admit that she's had 5 abortions. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's not fine, but you know what I'm saying? That's your body. You do what you do. Okay. But for all of this to be on text message and then for all of us to read, you know, that's just not a good look. So he puts that out, kind of changes how you feel about this whole situation, because in the text messages, at least, he is cool as a cucumber. And I almost feel like if some of the things that she says about him might be true, then he definitely knew that he needed to make sure that he ain't said nothing in these damn text messages that was going to make him look, you know, incriminate him. So he is letting her go off. She's saying all kind of wild ass crazy mess. And he's just sort of like, you know, well, I did love you. You know, I did want us to be together, but, you know, let's just, if it's not going to work, you know, let's try to co-parent. I mean, he's real rational and she's real not. She comes back out and at first she says that he made up the text messages, and then she says, you know, that she don't blast people like that. You know, that's not player. That's not player to be blasting people. I said, oh, you don't blast them. You just go and sue them for $15 million or say that they beat your ass and all of that. I mean, that's the ultimate of blasting, right? Call him a no good daddy and that he don't watch his kids. He don't love his kids. Like, what are you talking about? And then on top of that, she comes back and says, it's my body. I can do what I want, or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, now, is it true or is it not? Okay, you just said that the text messages was made up. Now you're talking about it's your body. We can only assume you're talking about these 5 abortions that you may have had. You know, so I was just like, girl. But, you know, she's been involved with high-profile people in the past, Meek Mill, Rick Ross, and their relationships all ended very abruptly as well. And, you know, I did remember Rick Ross saying some things about her and just not being 100% right. And now here we got P. Look like he's, you know, I don't know who to believe on this, but like I said, when people are suing for money instead of, you know, you get your ass beat, I want your ass to go to jail, then that kind of just raises an eyebrow. But like I said, my real rock star lawyers, y'all let me know the 411 on how this whole criminal case and this civil case or whatever, how that shit goes down. But yeah, he definitely did let everybody know what was going on over there in that household. All right, you guys, congratulations are in order to Mariah Carey. You guys know All I Want for Christmas is a Christmas classic. That song has been out since, 1994? I can remember when the song came out. It's a song that you hear every Christmas year, okay? I was surprised that this song never hit number 1, but evidently the song was released as a non-commercial single. And for whatever reason, back in those days, that made the song disqualified to even be considered for the Billboard Hot 100s. Well, over years, qualifications and the rules have changed, and that song became able to be qualified as a entrance into the Hot 100. So I think they said in 2017, it actually hit the top 10 list at number 9. And then in 2018, last year, it hit number 3. And now this year, which is also the 25th anniversary of the song, so very befitting for the time, it has reached number 1. Okay, so congratulations to Mariah Carey and her lambs out there. You guys have obviously carried this girl over, and good for her. She's made quite a bit of history. It's her 19th number 1 hit. The only other artist to have more than 19 number 1 hits is the Beatles. So if she has one more hit, number 1, then she will be tied with the Beatles. And of course, if she has 2, then she will surpass them and be the only person with, the most hits. She is also one of only 4 artists that have had a number 1 hit in each decade since the 90s. Okay, it would be her, it would be Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Usher. And they're saying that if the lambs are able to carry her, keep her at number 1 through the first week of January, then she will be the only artist to have had a number 1 in 4 consecutive decades. Okay, is that right? 90s, 2000s, teens. Yeah, because this is the start. This will be the start of her 4th decade. So Congratulations to Miss Mariah Carey. That girl has staying power. All right, we got all of our faves out there, but Mariah Carey is definitely a legend, a living legend, will go down as a legend, and all these are the kind of things that cement you in that legendary status. So congratulations to her. Lambs, make sure that you guys make your girl make history. And then lastly, in Quickies, you guys, this whole thing with Whoopi and Megan, you know, people are all like, oh, you know, they're fighting and well, first of all, Megan is annoying, you know, for the times that I do watch The View, which is not often, but when I do watch it, every time she gets on my nerves. So, you know, but she's definitely there for that, just like the rest of the women. Everybody there has very strong opinions. She's usually the only one that has the strongest because she's the only one that usually feels the way that she does. Everybody else pretty much are a little bit more liberal than she is. So she just turns out to be that person all the time. So when Whoopi Goldberg had to get her together today, it was just like, girl, please just stop talking, just shut up. And you know, she kept on going. So even though that Whoopi had to get her together, she still just didn't shut it down 100%. That's just who she is. But that's what they do on the show, you guys. It's nothing to get all, you know, bent out of shape and, you know, worried about or feel like there's some sort of beef there. There'll be many more of those days, especially if we head into FOMO years of YSAP. Congratulations are in order to Robin and Juan Dixon, okay, after being married for 7 years. Y'all gonna believe me when I tell you about these fucking 7 years, ain't you? But after they were married for 7 years, they divorced in 2012. But they never separated, okay? They were still together, kept on saying for the sake of their children or whatever. I know nobody really understood their relationship, but it seemed to work for them, and I was like, fuck it, if they like it, I love it. Well, we could tell last season on Housewives of Potomac that they were probably in the best place that they have been since they've been on the show. It was obvious that they had reconnected in some sort of way, that they were way more intimate and seemed like they were actually in love with each other again. And that was the first time that we had actually seen that. At the reunion, actually said that they probably would get married. They talked about it all the time. You know, he did want a baby. There's rumors going around that she's pregnant, but that hasn't been confirmed. But at a holiday party that was being taped for the show, he did propose. All right. And they say he had a very beautiful speech and yada, yada, yada. So good for Juan, good for Robin. He got her a beautiful cushion cut Morganite ring, you know, with diamonds surrounding it. She said it's exactly what she wanted. And, you know, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for Juan, happy for the Spawns. Like everybody is going to be together and happy, but they've been together all this time. But a whole new chapter on already well broken into book. But congratulations to the happy couple. Lastly, evidently Mark Curry was on Hashtag Chill. Hashtag Chill has a show on some station called Fox Soul. I've never even heard of it, you guys. But yeah, he has a show on there, and he had as a guest, the name of the show is The Mike and Donnie Show. And he had as a guest this day, Mark Curry, the comedian Mark Curry. And so while Hashtag Chill was questioning him, he asked him, did you know what was going on with him and Steve Harvey? And you guys know that Hashtag Chill is friends with Steve Harvey because supposedly Hashtag Chill was introduced to Cynthia by Steve Harvey. So that's the connection. Well, he asked about Steve Harvey, and Mark Curry was like, kind of like, oh, fuck that nigga, because, you know, he stole material from him. He said when he was on his bitch ass talk show. I mean, you guys already know Mark Curry is quite the colorful, you know, language type already. But he was just like, yeah, the bitch ass was on his talk show, and he did like my whole Halloween comedy routine setup on his show, and somebody called me and told me, and evidently he even confronted Steve Harvey at the Def Jam, you know, the Comedy 25 celebration that they had, and he said that Steve Harvey didn't even apologize. Now, of course, this is just one side, so we just got to take it as just one side. We don't know what Steve has said, but we got to remember that Bernie Mac also had problems with Steve Harvey stealing some of his jokes, and that he was jealous. Remember, he tried to get his part in Ocean's 11, and that they weren't even speaking when Bernie Mac died. So that's why a lot of people had a problem with Steve Harvey even being up on the stage and crying and stuff at his funeral. A lot of people said it was because he felt guilty about, where their relationship was when Bernie Mac died. But anyway, yeah, he's saying that he stole his material. And I guess when you're a comic, when you're a comedian, those things are near and dear to you. You want people to believe that these are the things that you came up with, and you said this. Nobody likes to be accused of being, stealing other people's work. Anyway, Steve Harvey Show is coming up, okay, in a couple of weeks on Facebook Live. Is that the name of the show? Facebook Watch. Yeah, Facebook Watch. Will you guys be watching? I bet you Mark won't. All right, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna get off of here. Somebody was like, why you don't never order your sushi on camera anymore? And I was like, oh, I'm just now realizing because I record on my phone. I can't call while I'm on the phone. But actually, I'm here right now about to pick up my sushi and take it on back to work. And that is it. I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. We do this every single week, except for next week, which will be my birthday. We do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.